Yes, guys, hello and welcome back to the SpursRelated YouTube channel. Wow, it's been a little while since I've said that, but we're back. SpursRelated, myself, Jack, and Andre isn't available today, but we're back on your screens, back on the YouTube videos. And today, of course, as you can tell by all the smiles, we are reviewing Nottingham Forest 0, Tottenham Hotspur 2, a brace from Harry Kane, another win for Spurs. Not the best performance. We'll get into things. Hope everyone's doing well. The Spurs relatables in the chat. Let us know if you're back and ready for some videos. But Jackie Burford, how you doing, mate?
Hey, I'm doing well. It's been a long time, James. It's been a long time coming. I think we've had a few illnesses, holidays, all of that. But you know what? We're back watching Tottenham, talking Tottenham. And I'm happy to be here. I'm currently in Greece, but I thought we've got to get a video out there. We've got to talk about our team, Tottenham. And you know what? I'm glad we're talking about a 2-0 win.
Thank goodness we're talking about a win, especially as you're taking the time out your luxurious holiday to Greece, as you said, Jack. But you've been a man on the road, haven't you? You've been on probably more holidays than I've been on in my whole life. So
yeah. Being 18, I thought, you know what, we've got to have a couple of holidays. I've been to Magaluf, not exactly luxurious, and now I'm with the family in Greece. Lovely views, watching Tottenham still. Don't be serious. It's got to be what you got to. Can't talk. It's what you got to do. Found a nice bar, and yeah, I'm very happy sitting here talking about Spurs in my hotel room.
There you go. Before we get into the review and how we thought Tottenham did, maybe some player ratings and everything else, I did just want to clear up. I'm personally apologising for the lack of content. It does, it doesn't fill me with great joy that we haven't been doing any videos. I've actually really missed it, but a few different things across between, people being on holiday, work, and a little bit of illness. We haven't been live as much as usual, so hopefully the videos are back flowing from next week, and hopefully you guys can support us in that as well. But guys, let us know how you thought the game went. There's a few comments already. I'm going to get to them now. Ian Army's in there, of course. He's saying, I'm sick and tired of looking at Steve Cooper. He's so ugly. The guy wasn't blessed with his looks, was he? He really wasn't. Wayne Bonner's in here. Big up, Wayne. Thanks for joining after all this time. He's saying, think we got away with that one. If Forest had a quality striker, could have been a different story. Good game though. Impressed with Forest. They were decent. And do you know what? I don't disagree with your statement, Wayne, but I do think that Brennan Johnson had a really good game. I thought he was a real threat for Forest. And actually, although maybe, yes, their finishing wasn't up to it, I thought we kept them at bay enough.
I understand where Wayne comes from, because I think personally I'm a massive fan of Brennan Johnson. But if they had that experienced target man, someone who knows where the goal is, then you know what, he's right. It could have been a different story. But then again, I do think Spurs, Conte's plan, maybe knew that they didn't have that experienced striker, someone who is guaranteed 15 to 20 goals a season. So we kind of did use what we had, I guess, and played against their weaknesses, I guess. So you know what, a 2-0 win, I'm more than happy, James.
Exactly, yeah. We'll get into all the player ratings, how we thought Forest were, how much of a threat we thought they were, and maybe what we need to improve on before, obviously, in just 3 days' time, we come up against our London rivals in West Ham at the London Stadium, which obviously West Ham getting their first win today. It was nice for them to join the points club in the Premier League with the only team that are on 0. But Shushan saying, hello there, boys. Good 3 points, but need to improve that for sure. Completely agree, Shushan. And thanks for joining, mate. Hope you're doing well. Ayanami saying, glad Reggie got a big move to a big club with a system that fits him. I really miss him. Yeah, I think Real Madrid fans aren't particularly happy. One of my mates, big Real Madrid fan, and he said he's a bit of a snake for going to Atletico Madrid. So that'll be interesting to see on socials later. Luke saying, hi, my guys. Luke, always good to see you, mate. Hope you're doing well. And Ayanami saying, people should stop scapegoating the midfield. They were only competent, can't even say that word, players today, maybe including Perisic. I thought Perisic, yeah. Go on, Jack.
I think that's a really good talking point, because I think a lot of the Spurs fan base will be split on how the midfield performed today. What I would say is, honestly, I don't think we would have won that match without Bentancur and Højbjerg. But when we are playing against serious teams like Liverpool, Man City, we're going to get found out because for me, Bentancur and Højbjerg on the ball sometimes were very sloppy today. And Højbjerg made some fantastic passes, driving with the ball, being strong. And you know what? Every time off the ball, I'm so glad they play for this club because they give everything. The amount of diving blocks we saw, just the work rate to get that ball back and start another counter attack was impressive. However, I do worry when we play stronger teams. I'll say it over and over again. We get overrun, like Chelsea we saw last week with their midfield of Mount, not Kovacic, but just the Ruben Loftus-Cheek playing on the right, but their ability to strangle us, put us under pressure, and make us panic. And I felt sometimes today we wouldn't look up enough, and we'd always be looking forward, and then we'd go back, and then Brennan Johnson would be ready to pounce on the ball. And I just feel like sometimes we need to compose ourselves and maybe add another player like Bissouma in there, or look at the market for an additional centre mid. I said it to yourself, James. I feel like maybe we lack a bit in that area and that we need to add someone. But I don't know your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think Naomi's got a good point. I think the midfield pair were actually decent today. I thought Højbjerg had a decent game. Really did kind of sweep up well, especially second half, and bring the ball forward. Bentancur as well did his job. But the only thing that concerns me a little bit about what you're saying there is, like, I just don't think we need this number 10 that everyone keeps saying about. You know, I don't feel like we genuinely need this number 10. I don't think it's a necessity. I don't think that's how we play. I don't think that's how Conte wants to play. So I wouldn't necessarily say like we must go and get a number 10. But also at the same time, we have got 3 to 4 decent midfielders in our reserve when Skip is available. So I don't know about the whole centre mid thing. I would much rather see a centre back come in. I think we're still lacking at the back when we've got Davinson Sanchez and Dyer as our best centre back options when Romero's not available. You kind of start asking question marks. Dyer got a bit lost a couple of times today. Sanchez, again, a clean sheet. He hasn't conceded while being at Tottenham for the last, I think it's 5 hours of football, which is kind of crazy. So, you know, Sanchez is always a scapegoat. He always gets a lot of abuse. But also, like, you got to think, well, he's been involved in like 4 or 5 clean sheets in his last few games. So it's interesting on that perspective as well. But
there's a reason why Conte feels confident to put him in the team. Like you say, he had said there's no problem putting Sanchez in. And for me, Sanchez is a player that does get scapegoated. Yes, let's be honest, he's not the most composed football player. He's not someone I feel, yes, he can spray a 50-yard pass and he's comfortable on the ball. And him and Lloris, every time they pass it between each other, I'm like, which one's going to make a mistake? But then again, off the ball, when there's runs in behind and putting his body on the line, he's definitely not a bad backup centre-back. So for me, I'm quite happy he's still in the squad.
Yeah, exactly. I know we're saying to prevent being overloaded in the midfield, we need to play a 3-5-2. Ruslan Malinovsky as our cam, or any good alternatives. Potentially, yeah. I just don't think necessarily that we need to play a 3-5-2. I think it depends on the team. It depends on the opponent, and it depends how we're facing. Like in that game in the first half, we got battered. I would have probably been inclined to have made a formation or a tactical change. And actually, we did look better in the second half. And it happened again where Conte obviously did something to the players, gave them the kick up the arse. And also, you know, I kind of feel our counter-attacks were a little bit more dangerous in the second half, perhaps. And we soaked up their pressure. They didn't really threaten the goal as much second half. Nottingham Forest, I'd say. Bobby K is saying, big up James, Jack, and everyone in the chat. Big up Bobby K. Always good to see you, mate. It's been a little while. Hope your channel's doing well and hope the boys are all good. Oh, and happy birthday to Big K today. His 16th birthday, I believe. I saw it in one of the WhatsApp groups. So big up to him. Happy birthday to one of the 3 Spurs boys legends. Sean Manzour's in here. Big up, Sean. Always good to see you, mate. He says 4th in FPL SpursRelated League. Let's go. I need to have a look at that.
I've had a poor start. I've been looking at it, guys. For me, I love my fantasy football. Every year in my mini leagues, about 30 people. I'm usually in the top 3. But then I've had about a poor start. I think I'm like 40th out of, I think we nearly got about 100 people in there. So impressive. Keep it up, Sean. And don't worry, I'll be right up your tower. I'm telling you, by the end of the season, I'm hoping to take top spot.
And I know he's saying a forward, centre back, and a midfielder is needed. Listen, I think realistically at this point in the season, we're never signing 3 players. You know, deadline day is next week. It's just we're not signing 3 players. I'd be surprised if we sign even 2 more, to be honest, let alone 1 more. So let's see.
Sorry, James, to interrupt. The only thing is, I do think Conte watching that today. I think for me, there's a bit of an opportunity this season. There's a bit of a feeling where it's like, I don't know what's going to happen. Arsenal are looking very good. I think they're getting ahead of themselves. They've had 4 good games, but they haven't been tested against real quality yet. And I think maybe even against Man United next week, they might drop points. But then again, I feel like there's an opportunity. I think Liverpool look good and Man City look good as ever, but I don't think they can keep it up. And I feel like there's an opportunity for Tottenham to spend a bit of money and just maximise as good as they can be. And I feel like we are getting overrun in the midfield a lot. And I feel like we might need someone there. Maybe not necessarily a number 10, James, like you say, but someone of the quality of Milinkovic-Savic or Frankie de Jong would I keep saying it, but it would revolutionise this midfield, and it would keep me, every time they're on the ball, it would just fill me with confidence. Just because their composure, work rate off the ball, it's just a world-class name in that team to add to the forward line, which is already one of the best in the league. So I feel like we need to add someone there, and another centre-back would be more than ideal. And I think it's needed. Don't you, James? Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I feel like we're overrunning the midfield, and maybe it's because we need to add another body in there. And another centre-back, I feel like we haven't got as much depth as we... Do you know what I mean? We haven't got as much depth there. Maybe someone to cover for Dyer.
I agree with the centre-back thing. I said it myself, like 100%. I think that's the priority, to be honest with you. But for me, centre-mid, like, we've got a very, very good player just sitting on the bench a lot of the time. Bissouma, yeah. He hasn't really moulded into the starting 11 yet. I think it will take time, and I think maybe Conte will mix things up and potentially even start Bissouma against West Ham. Maybe give Højbjerg a rest, or maybe even Bentancur. I was discussing on the Irish Hotspurs channel earlier, and I would honestly play Højbjerg and Bissouma in that game. 2 workhorses coming up against Declan Rice and Souček. Yeah. 2 workhorses against 2 workhorses. I'm not saying Bentancur isn't a workhorse, but I feel like he's a different type of midfielder.
Do you think 4 midfielders is enough? 2 midfield partnerships, 2, because let's be honest, they are 4 trusted Conte midfielders, but is that enough? I would also argue 3 of them are more defensive than attacking. One of them, like Bentancur, you could argue is a bit more forward playing, and maybe Bissouma.
But we're not going to play. We're not going to play. This is what I'm trying to say. We're not going to play with a number 10, especially not to start with. Anyway, I know we could.
Number 10 though. For me, like it just annoys me. Like you say, I totally agree. I'm not desperate for a number 10, but another centre midfielder, maybe a number 8. I wouldn't say Frankie de Jong or Milinkovic-Savic are number 10s, but they are forward-playing midfielders who are willing to get on the ball and drive with it, but they're also good off the ball. I just feel like we need someone of that calibre, someone who can play in that position. Because I feel like 4 midfielders, it's a bit light. As good as they all are, I feel like we need one more.
Yeah, true. I know saying we've already got a world-class midfielder, Harry Winks. So he's off to Sampdoria on loan. But listen, let's get into the game, how we thought we did, rather than talk about transfer window. I'm sure we'll do a transfer window stream next week. And also, guys, let us know if you want us to do a transfer deadline day stream. Transfer deadline day, we did it last time. I need to remind myself what actual day it is because I've already forgotten. It is on, Jack, do you know?
I'm not
September 1st at 11 p.m. So that is Thursday. Potentially, we could do a late one on Thursday night. If you guys want to see it, let us know. I'm sure Tottenham won't do any last-minute deals, but then again, you never know. It's interesting to see the other clubs as well.
You never know, do you? I'm sure he might call up at Harry Redknapp asking who does he want? Who should join Spurs? You never know.
Let's talk about the game, Jack. Obviously, 2-0. It looks good on paper. Harry Kane missed a penalty, obviously. We'll talk about that as well. But overall, just very quickly, what did you think of the game? Were you a bit disappointed, or were you actually very happy, obviously, with the 3 points in the end? Or do you feel a little bit subdued with that 3 points?
You know what? I can never complain with 3 points, especially when you don't play your best football, because it shows a winning mentality. It shows a change. It's not as Spursy as people would say. And 10 points from your opening 4 games is very impressive. But for me, it just does reinforce the idea, if we want to push Liverpool and Man City, which maybe is a long shot, but for me, I keep saying it, I feel like there may be a slight opportunity, maybe not to win the league, but just have a proper good season and pile the pressure on. And I feel like there is signs that maybe we are missing a bit. And I think defensively, like I keep saying it, defensively in the midfield for me, Nottingham Forest got on the ball a lot today, and they had a lot of space sometimes, a lot of opportunities where if they had to find that final ball, Brennan Johnson hit a few balls across the box, and if there's a Harry Kane in that Nottingham Forest team, he's scoring those chances. So for me, I feel like we might have to have a couple of additions, just because I felt like I love seeing Tottenham be on the front foot, high-flying wing-backs, crosses into the box, mix it up. Kulusevski dropping into the pocket, finding that space. And when Spurs do that, we are frightening and we're very hard to stop. And I just didn't see enough of that today, especially in the first half. What do you think? Do you think we had a better first half or second?
Oh, 100% second. We were absolutely dreadful in the first half. I mean, the first 10, 15 minutes, we got the goal early. We looked like we could have scored 2 or 3. And then suddenly, bang, Nottingham Forest attack. We tried to go forward, get cut out in midfield. They had all the momentum. The atmosphere was up. They were ramping up. That stadium was loud. Good set of fans they've got. But I mean, let's be honest. Like we were saying, if they had a more experienced striker, if they had a goal scorer, they could have easily made it 1 or a half time minimum. And we're saying the same thing about the Wolves game. We should have been 1-0 down against Wolves in the first half of the last home game. So, I mean, it's got to change, because when we start playing the bigger teams, yes, we could probably get away with it against the likes of maybe Fulham, Nottingham Forest, Southampton, Bournemouth, but we can't get away with it against Chelsea, Man City, even probably Man United, Chelsea. Yeah. We just can't get away with Liverpool. We can't get away with it against these teams. So we really need to ramp up our ideas. We really need to get on the ball more and start. It's just sloppy play, and we're not pressing enough. We're just letting these teams just dominate. And I don't know if it's a tactic from Conte to let teams come at us and try and score on the counter-attack early, because technically we did score on the counter-attack from Kane. Obviously, a great move. Son played Kulusevski. Someone else played Kulusevski. Son went left, Kane went right. Kulusevski darted left, played in Kane to the right, and it was a good finish. Obviously, the keeper didn't even dive. But, I mean, it really does annoy me a little bit, Spurs. The first halves in every single game this season, bar the Southampton game, have been awful. Every single game. And we need to change with that. And I'm not going to sit here and say, look, I'm disappointed today, because, look, we got another 3 points. We kept a clean sheet. Somehow Davinson Sanchez hasn't conceded for 5 hours of football. But also at the same time, we cannot keep doing this. It's just poor. It was really poor. I was fuming at halftime, because even though we were 1-0 up, we played shocking. And we needed that early goal. Luckily, we obviously got it at the end. But Kane obviously could have put the game to bed in the 55th, 60th minute with a penalty. I mean, Harry Kane doesn't miss penalties often. Let's quickly move on to that.
So yeah, I can't believe it, to be fair. Every time you'd bet your house on Harry Kane scoring a penalty, it's a foregone conclusion. But to be fair, Dean Henderson saved 3 out of his last 5 penalties. He is a good keeper, especially in high-pressure situations, so you've got to give him respect for that. Then again, it happens. For me, Harry Kane, he'll grab that ball next time and he'll smash it in. No doubt about it. What I found interesting, I think a couple of days ago, I think Mourinho talking about Harry Kane's penalty routine, James, and I don't know if you've seen this. And he's like, Harry Kane knows 3 or 4 days before where he's going to put a penalty when he gets one. And he practices it over and over and over again. And he makes sure he gets the perfect technique and he knows exactly where it's going to go. So I just wonder, obviously Dean Henderson potentially being in the England camp knows where Harry Kane's preferred setups. Maybe he's trained with Harry Kane and maybe that gave him an advantage. But I just wondered what you thought about that penalty technique. Do you think it's a good thing to know a couple of days before and keep practicing that? Or do you think it's better to be in the moment and see where the keeper's moving? Not that we're two people to say it's wrong or right. I just think it's an interesting discussion point.
I don't think it was a terrible penalty. Like, I looked at it. Yes, it could have been more in the corner like he's done, many times before. But also, you think about it, like, it was a good save, and the keeper just guessed the right way and stuck to his guns and went for it and got the save. But listen, if Henderson went the other way and it went in, we'd have been going great Kane. So listen, he's missed 1 penalty in about 20. So I'd have to look at the stats, but his penalty record's unbelievable. He's still got 2 goals. He could have got a hat-trick if he scored that. And let's quickly move on to another topic, which I want to talk about. I wanted to talk about it at the start. Richarlison's ball. Wow. So he picked up the ball. It was a loose ball, wasn't it? In the corner flag. He runs, he sprints, he gets the ball, he turns, takes 2 touches, travellas it into the area with the outside of the boot to the back post. Harry Kane could have put it in with any part of his body, and he diving headers it. It was absolute poetry in motion. And then 10 minutes later, if that, 5 minutes later, Richarlison starts doing keepy-ups, gets fouled by Brennan Johnson. He gets a yellow card. It's absolute shithousery through my veins, and it's absolutely fantastic. What are your thoughts on all of it?
Oh, simply stunning. Richarlison, I said it before. That's why you pay money for squad depth. That's why you pay money for real quality to come off the bench and give you that heart, give you that passion, give you desire to want to win the ball. Because if you watch it back, Sessegnon had a fantastic chance to slip the ball into Kane. Game finished.
Awful. Too
Kane,
slow from too slow from Sessegnon.
yeah, and didn't think with his head. You've got to be cutthroat. You've got to know when to pass the ball. And he was panicking. He didn't know when was the right opportunity, and he waited too long. Then Harry Kane's head down. Richarlison sees the opportunity. He runs down that ball. He wins the ball back using his strength. Then couple touches. Then that's sensational. I'm telling you now, if you play football, the technique to be able to do that and bend it round 3 players using the outside of your boot to put it on a plate for Harry Kane, that is sublime. That is fantastic. And that is why Antonio Conte and Paratici have identified Richarlison, because that showed his 2 qualities there. His heart, his passion to win the ball back, and then his technical ability to be able to put a ball on a plate like that for Kane. And that's won us the game today. That's finished it off. And you know what? We didn't play our best. Then maybe we didn't dictate the play. But the quality we have in that front 3, well, front 4 now with Son, Kane, Kulusevski, is one of the best in the Premier League, and that is going to be so hard to stop. And that is why people are counting Spurs to potentially push Man City and Liverpool, because the quality we possess is going to be frightening for any team we face in the Champions League or Premier League. And that is why I'm still so excited to be watching Tottenham every week. And that's what we come on this channel to talk about it, because players like Richarlison, like what he did today, was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, 100%. And also, I feel like in the dressing room, and also that character in terms of not his footballing ability, but his character, it's really kind of replaced Lamella's legacy he kind of left in terms of the passion coming on, the 100%, wearing his heart on his sleeve, just 100% effort, and going to tackles, with absolute me, even like, trying to wind players up and stuff like that. It's brilliant. Carragher was moaning about it.
It's like within your belly. It's like, I just want to play. I want to get on that pitch and show everyone why I deserve a starting spot. I didn't see any sulking. I think when you watch the goal reactions, when we score a goal or Forest went close with that header, Richarlison's like, you can see him on the bench. It's like he's in the game and he's desperate to come on and make a new. And I really think, James, this could be another talking point, that there's a slight chance he might start Wednesday against West Ham. But what are your thoughts? I don't want to steal your thunder, but I do think, does he deserve an opportunity, considering Son wasn't at his best again today?
No, I agree. Son wasn't good. But before I do move on to that, I got a couple of comments. Plus, I also wanted to say about the Richarlison thing. Carragher on Sky Sports. I know you weren't listening on Sky Sports, Joe. You're listening to the Greek version of Carragher, probably. Yeah. But Carragher was moaning about Richarlison, saying, I don't like it, la, 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 la. And he did have a couple of antics moments. But at the end of the day, you need a player that's going to wind up the opposition and going to draw fouls, going to get the ball up the pitch and going to win us free kicks. And that's exactly what Richarlison does. And it's absolutely brilliant to see. If he was against me, like when he used to play against us for Everton, I used to hate it. I used to absolutely hate it. But when he's on your team, like a bit like a Romero, it's absolutely fantastic, and we all absolutely love it. Let's be honest.
You know what, Jake? We've missed it. We've missed it. We haven't really had a player that's willing to do that for the team
since Lamella. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, since Lamella, but Lamella was willing to do that. But like as a unit, as a team that back each other, if Richarlison does it, the rest of the team are on them. Like that's their player, and that's what they don't care. Like Antonio Conte is creating the team of winners, and that is why I'm thinking, just don't know what's going to happen this season. With the Champions League, your FA Cup, Carabao Cup coming up. It's just with Romero as well, with Richarlison on the same team, both just willing to wind up the opponent, but putting challenges twice as hard as well when they get tackled. It's brilliant.
Absolutely. 100%. Bobby K saying if we don't bring in more cover, we'll struggle with a congested fixture list coming up. Yeah, exactly. We're just talking about it. Bobby, centre backs, maybe a midfielder, maybe a right wing back. Who knows? But certainly we need more cover. Will we sign more players this window? I'm not too sure if we'll sign even more than one. But let's see. Obviously, deadline day in 4 days' time. David Clark, always good to see you, mate. I hope you enjoyed the game. He says you can't have a low block and then concede 17 shots against us when playing an average side.
I agree with David, but then, James, how many shots on target do you think Forest had today?
Not many, was it?
They had one. They had one shot on target. So then again, there was one header that I think they could have done better with. But apart from that, I can't think of how many chances they created.
They're all pop shots from range or,
Exactly. And that's what Antonio Conte is going to be looking at and thinking, right, well, maybe we could have had the ball a bit more and created a bit more chances. But with the front three we have, we can create a chance like that. On the counter-attack, we look so deadly and we're stopping Forest from creating clear-cut chances. So then again, you look at it as a positive sometimes. Look, I'm not saying it was perfect, but then again, one shot on target, that's not good enough from Forest.
True. That's their problem, though, Chad, not ours, mate.
But it's credit to Tottenham, is what I mean. It's credit
I
to
know.
the defence, putting the bodies on the line and stopping them from creating clear-cut chances. So that's why I'm happy.
Absolutely. On your bike, Scott says, big up, boys. On your bike, Scott. Always good to see you, mate. I hope you've been keeping well. Stay tuned for our videos. We are coming back with a bang this week. Just keep an eye on that. And David Clark saying, if the players on both sides could shoot them, my Forest 2, Spurs 5 would have happened. Unlucky on that one there, David. Not close, but no cigar. What did I want to do? I wanted to pick up on your point about who starts, Son or Kane in midweek. I think there is a good argument that Richarlison could start. Son looked very, very upset when he came off, and he knew that he probably should have scored a goal. He had a really good shot first half that just went over the bar, really powerful on the first time. I don't know if you saw that one, Jack. Yeah. And also he had a good chance. A couple of chances in the second half. I thought who was on the right wing, Kulusevski, or maybe it wasn't Kulusevski. Maybe it was, I can't remember, but he should have played it back post to Son, who was screaming for it. I think it was Kane who then went for a shot. No, Richard, I can't remember. Kulusevski. Højbjerg. It was Højbjerg.
I know.
Yeah, and he should have brought it back for Kane for Son at the back post, and then I think Kane had a shot where Son was screaming for it as well to play it across. I mean, Son really should have
frustrated, isn't he? He's a bit like, he's eager. He wants getting the golden boot and playing as well as he did last season. He's just so eager in it, and it's not falling for him at the minute. And I think he's getting a bit impatient, as well as having the quality of Richarlison behind him. He knows he's got to perform, and maybe that added pressure hasn't helped him so far. I'm not saying it. I think for me, squad depth is so important, and I think in the long run it will definitely benefit us, especially with the fixture list coming up. But I just feel like he's panicking a bit. But if you remember last season, I don't think Son started too well. And we all know how good of a season he had eventually. So for me, he needs to bide his time, maybe give Richarlison a start this weekend, but keep Son's morale high. And I think just rotation. It's important. We've got the champion. We've got Fulham, I think, at a 3 o'clock kickoff Saturday. And then we've got Marseille on the Wednesday. So there's plenty of games, and everyone's going to need to be rotated.
Absolutely. Jack, listen, let's do what we do on the channel sometimes in terms of the player ratings, and rather than say these out, I'm going to do a little screen share here, keep it a bit more interactive. 1 second, here we go. Let me know if you can see this. So I thought the best thing to do would be to kind of go through our 11 and see. Obviously, look, Nottingham Forest, 5 yellow cards today. Very dirty team, bringing us down on counter attacks. But listen, Lloris, as you said, only had 1 shot on target to deal with, and he did punch it out, didn't he? Other than that, he didn't really have a lot to do.
The shot on target was a long shot. Let's not forget that as well.
Exactly. There was a time also where he came and swept it up. Do you remember, right on the edge of the box in the first half when they nearly ran behind the box?
Yeah, it was a good ball by Gibbs White, I think. Yeah.
From who?
Morgan Gibbs White. 35 million, I think that is a lot of money.
45 million. 45 million.
Oh, James, that is astonishing.
45 million. If Forest go down, they're in big trouble. But anyway, Lloris, I'd give a 6 or a 7. Like, you can't really complain on his performance. What would you give him?
I'm going to give him a 6.5, just because I think his distribution could be a bit better, but he's done what is needed.
Okay. Let us know in the chat what you guys think Lloris is and all the other players. Maybe give us a little rundown and we'll read it out. I'm going to give Dyer today. He did lose the ball. There was a time in the first half where he got caught sleeping and then he was running back and someone else had to do his dirty work. I'm giving Eric Dyer a 6 today.
6.5 for me, just because I think he made some fantastic blocks and he has asserted his position in the centre half. And I do feel quite comfortable watching him play. So no complaints from me, not too many, maybe a bit sloppy in possession, but 6.5, maybe pushing to a 7.
Okay. Davies, again, very similar to Dyer, maybe a bit more solid. Going to give him a 7.
Yeah, 6.57. Same. I was happy with Davies. I think he's just improved so much as a player, and that left centre back position is certainly his. I think Lenglet's definitely going to compete with him, but I'm more than happy with Davies.
Okay, Sanchez again. I mean, he can't complain. 5 hours of football, no goals conceded. I thought he had a decent game. Didn't really, massively stand out, but also didn't really put too many feet wrong. I'd probably give him a 7.
Yeah, same as me, James. The whole back line, I'm giving 6.5 to 7s. 6.75 if we're being specific. But Sanchez, for me, same old. Like, he's just not doing too much wrong. I think with the ball at his feet, he does look a bit uncomfortable. Like, I saw him do a back heel today. Back to the reason I was thinking, oh, no, don't get it twisted because then Forest are through. But no, I can't really complain too much. Absolutely.
On your bike, Scott's gone for a 6. I believe this is for Sanchez. Sanchez, a couple of dodgy moments, but a 7 for David Clark. Dyer got spat and he's going to give him a 6. I love Richarlison. Just wish when shooting he hits the target. And he also said, I went an 8-mile walk today. I don't know what was more painful, the walk or the game. Emerson and Perisic. Now, I had people in the SpursRelated Instagram comments saying that Emerson was the worst player on the pitch, and I said, I do not agree. I replied, I said, I do not agree. I would give Emerson a 6.5 today. I don't think he was terrible, but I also don't think he was good.
You know what? I thought Emerson had a really good game last week against Wolves. I thought he was really good that first half. And for me, I can be Emerson's biggest criticiser. I don't know if he's still good enough. I think Spence, and I'm sure we'll talk a bit about Spence in a minute, but I feel like they are going to overtake his position. But he's doing enough to cement his start in the starting 11, and I don't see that changing for the next couple of games. So for me, I'm going to give him a 7. I think he's solid defensively. He makes an option going forward. He keeps it tight. He doesn't lose the ball that much. Sometimes he's a bit sloppy, but how many times did Emerson lose the ball today? I'd like to know, because I doubt it was as many as some people.
There was a time where he absolutely messed it up. Do you remember? And he passed it towards the corner flag in the first half. I don't know why. Then he had to run after it, and then he ended up sliding the player and giving away a free kick.
I kind of see his method to his madness there. I think he tried to keep it on and make sure it didn't go out for a corner. I can kind of see where he's coming from, but yeah, that was a bit questionable. But you know what, James? I think he's improved tremendously over the past year. I don't know if he's good enough, but considering how poor he was when he first joined, I'm not too disappointed.
Okay. Jack, let's whiz through the next ones. Perisic, I'm going for a 7. I thought he had a very decent game, maybe even push it to a 7.5. Really did cause problems down that left, especially first half. Really did get in, put a couple of nice crosses in, and just looks a real player. Sometimes also, one thing I noticed today is everyone's saying, obviously, he's 33. Has he got the legs anymore? He is still lightning quick. He kept the ball in play when it was meant to go out a couple of times. I was like, it's their throw-in. And he kept it in. He is honestly decent. I would probably give him a 7.5.
His physicality as well, James. His engine, when you look at him, like class, he just is a player. He demands that respect. His experience. I think Perisic is going to be a stellar signing for Tottenham. I'm really excited to see how he does, especially when he plays in the Champions League and plays the upper end teams in the Premier.
Okay. Højbjerg and Bentancur, I'm giving them both the same rating today. I'm probably going to give them a 7, both of them.
I'm going to give Højbjerg a 7.5. Just
I nearly did that.
He made some fantastic progressive passes and good off the ball. That's why I'm giving Bentancur a 7, because he did work hard and did keep the play ticking, which is very important, keeping it simple. But Højbjerg made some fantastic passes. That vision to find Kane as well. When he was through on goal, and then the Nottingham Forest centre half, I think it might have been Worrell, made a fantastic tackle to stop him. Do you remember that, James, where Kane tried to get it on his right foot? Maybe if it was on his left foot, he would have had a shot in. But I thought he was really good today, Højbjerg. Couple opportunities, it could have been an 8, but sometimes a bit sloppy. But no, overall, I'm quite impressed.
And David's brought up a talking point here, which I hopefully won't talk about or dwell on for too long, but he says he wants to see him start in Son's spot. What do you think on this?
I like him left wing back, but just because I think defensively as well, just his composure at the back. A few times where some people
experience.
What's he doing? When he headed the ball back, when he just passes the ball from the back, he commands respect. He gets everyone to calm down. Like, for me, I think he's in the perfect position because he's got the best of both worlds.
And he's got a bit, and he's experienced, isn't he? And deals with it. Okay, and that leaves us with the front 3, Jack. I'm going to give it all at once. I'm going to go Son. I'm so sorry, Son. You weren't on it again today. A couple of nice runs through that didn't end up in success. Had a shot that went over the bar. I'm not too worried about that. I'm not too, it was a good effort. One chance, I think he did fluff it a little bit. But honestly, Son, it breaks my heart how bad he's doing at the moment. But I'm also not going to get overly concerned. We're only 4 games into the season. We know this guy is world class. We know he's going to come good at some point, whether it's in the cup competitions or in the Premier League in a couple of games. Maybe he just does need a little bit of a rest, a little bit of time out of the starting 11. And maybe one game, and then he's back on track. He knows that he's got the pressure of Richarlison right down his throat, especially with that performance off the bench today. But Son today, I can't give him any more than a 5.5.
Yeah, 5.5. Have you done your Kane and Kulusevski?
Not yet, but I just wanted to see what you said about what we were saying about that, because I talked for way more than I thought I would.
No. I'm going to say 6 for Son, just because I feel like he did get a bit unlucky. Maybe if people passed the ball to him and he got a goal, we'd be ranking him up with 1 or 2 places. So I think a 6 for Son. He still works hard. He still loves the club, obviously. And I just feel like he's getting a bit of bad fortune at the minute, and it's not quite working for him. And maybe we do need to start Richarlison next week. But I do think a 6 is a fair assessment. But I totally agree with what you said, James.
Okay. Let's go Kulusevski, the ginger from Sweden. And for me, he is... I was going to give him man of the match, but you can't really, because Kane got 2. I don't know. I feel like these 2 were probably my man of the matches today drawn. I'm giving Kulusevski it's difficult, isn't it? I'm giving Kulusevski a 7.5, and I'm going to give Harold, Arnold, Kane, MBE an 8, just because of the 2 goals. He's the match winner. Yes, he missed the penalty. Yes, he probably should have had a hat-trick. But listen, he's the difference between the 2 teams today. Right place, right time for the second and the first goal. A great little strike. Keeper had no chance. He didn't even move. I don't know if there was someone in his way. But listen, he's the match winner. Kulusevski today was absolutely brilliant again, really causing problems down that right, cutting in. Had a couple of shots that, nearly went in as well. And also, he just knows where Kane and Son are all the time. He's always looking up. He's got great feet for a big lad. And I really did think he was decent today.
Yeah, James, spot on. I felt like I was watching Match of the Day then. You were like, brilliant. But no, Kulusevski.
Yeah, it won't be long, mate. It won't be long.
So bring me with you. Kulusevski on that right-hand side, I thought he looked extremely sharp. Just everything he does, James, at the minute oozes class, and he looks so fit. He keeps running up and down. The way he just glides with the ball, he doesn't look the fastest, but every time he manages to burn his opponent, and the close dribbling, it's just exciting to watch.
And it's always onto his left. Like, the defenders know where he's going. He never goes onto his right and then bang into Son.
A couple of times today, you know what? A couple of times he moved the ball to his right and the opponent read it. And usually I'd think it'd be through because everyone knows how good his left foot is.
The opponent didn't faint, because I thought they'd been doing the video work going, well, this guy 100 times out of 100 goes left.
The thing is, you can't stop it though, because how quickly he shifts that ball and how good that strike is on his left-hand side. Yeah, oozing class, his creativity, getting in the right space, his knowledge as well of the game, the ability to find those pockets of space at such a young age of 22. To me, we've got a real player on our hands, James.
And another assist today. Assist.
I've got him in my fantasy. I had him first week and I decided to change him. He's got to get in, I think. And then Harry Kane, 8, scoring 2 goals. And
so you got man of the match?
It's just what he does. It really is. I think he's the best striker in the world. It's what let's be honest now, James, it's what we expect from Harry Kane. He is the best striker in the world. He knows where the goal is. And I think he's going to have a stellar season. And I still think he's got a couple of gears to rank up. So you know what? 8 for Harry Kane, Kulusevski and Højbjerg for me, getting 7.5s, both having a good game as well. And we keep on ticking, James. 10 points in 4 games. We've got to be happy. We're complaining.
Unbeaten, mate.
We're sitting here unbeaten.
Absolutely. So David Clark gave Son a 4, by the way, and Kane 7.5, Kulu 7. So everyone's pretty much gone for a Kane man of the match, with Kulusevski as the second man of the match. And he's also put Kane in the league, 28 penalties, 24 scored, 4 missed. That's not a bad record. I thought it was better than that, but to be honest, it is still very good. Let's be honest.
For England, I think. So that's probably why.
Maybe. Yeah, he bags them for England all the time. What was I going to say? Listen, Wednesday, we'll do a match preview beforehand. But West Ham... Jack, how are you feeling after that performance, considering West Ham got a nice win at Villa Park today?
I think whatever happens with West Ham, playing Tottenham, and it's true that it is their cup final. They'll turn up. They'll want a win at the London Stadium, having a fantastic year for their standards last year. I guess it was a good season for anyone standing, making the Europa League semi-final, just finishing outside the Europa League places, another European tour for them. Not the one we're in, let's be honest. It's Europa, not even Europa League, Europa Conference. But I think they turn up, and I think we're going to have a serious game. For me, is it worth changing a few things? Is it worth bringing in Bissouma? Maybe dropping Son, not starting Richarlison, and playing three in the middle to be able to deal with Souček and Rice could be something we do. James, tell me, what do you think of this?
Good idea.
Playing midfield three of Bissouma, Bentancur, and Højbjerg.
Yeah, I like that.
We haven't got enough forward, but with Kulusevski's creativity and Harry Kane in the form he is, I think that could work. And I feel like
it's a 5-3-2.
3-5-2. A lot of people have been calling out for it. It's not got that stand-up 10, what you call, but it just keeps the midfield very compact, and it makes sure we don't get overrun, because they have got great players. They have got Bowen, who's at Lively. That Schmacker's scored a load of goals in the Serie A last year. And
who?
How do we pronounce his name? Schmacker? Schmacker.
I thought you said Schumacher. I was like, he's a race driver, mate.
No, don't catch you out. Schmacker from West Ham now. He could be a threat. He's 6'4". So at the end of the day, we're going to have to be strong defensively, and I hope Romero is fit and firing for that game, because we're going to need him.
Fingers crossed on that one, James, for sure.
It's a big game. It's a very big
huge game. And listen, obviously we'll do a preview for that game maybe on Monday or Tuesday. Let's see. Maybe tomorrow will be a good time, or if not Tuesday. But we'll keep you updated on the community section. But before we do go, guys, please, as we haven't been live for a while, do smash a like on the video. On the video, it's absolutely free to do so. And one more thing I always bang on about, guys, is please do turn on the notifications on the video. It's simply at the bottom of the screen right there. You see subscribe, you click on the bell, and you click all videos, and you turn on our notifications, and you will never miss a live stream from us. And do you know what? Even if you do miss the live stream, you can always catch up offline and send us a little comment. I always interact with you guys on there. A lot of you guys do watch them offline, and I do interact with you guys on there and reply, and it's always good to get a conversation going. So please do keep active on this channel. Yes, we're apologising for not being live for a couple of weeks, but we are back. I do promise you that. The content is going to come back, and we are buzzing with Tottenham 4 games in, 10 points on the board. Not the most convincing performances, but listen, we are 3rd or 4th in the league. Let me just double check that one.
Third, and on the same points as Man City, just a couple goals behind on goal difference. And James, I think it's important to say that it's a big week for Tottenham this week, and there's a lot of content, guys. And we do apologise, but it was out of our hands. Illnesses, holidays. You know how it is. But look, we're back. We're bigger than ever. We've got a lot of ideas that we want to bring to you, and we want to keep it as a community and keep everyone in the chat. So share it to your friends. Let them know SpursRelated are back, and we're bigger than ever. So we want to build up the views. We want to build up the channel so we can bring you the best content possible. So yeah, exciting week. We're going to do the Premier League predictions. I'm sure we're going to build that back up, aren't we, James? I think I won the last week. I don't think we spoke about that.
I don't know.
I did check it, and I might have beat you, James, but we'll let you know. They were taking the mick out of me, James and Sean. But guess who called the predictions right? Jack over here, nose ball. But anyway, I'm sure we'll review that, do some predictions, maybe for Wednesday, maybe for Saturday. I am on holiday, but for you guys, I want to get out as much content as possible. And yeah, we're going to keep it going, aren't we, James?
Absolutely. And quick one, just to bounce off subject. Kulusevski's now played 22 games for Tottenham and got 10 assists. So what an absolute baller. 1 assist every 2 games. Plus he scores goals. He's our junior from Sweden. And for me, I honestly wanted to give him man of the match, but you can't not give the man of the match to the player that scored 2 goals and was the match winner. But guys, that is all we have time for. Thanks so much to Jack for joining us all the way 100,000 miles away, wherever you are. And also all the guys in the chat that did come back, the likes of David, On Your Bike, Scott. We had also, obviously, Iron Army, Bobby K, Sean. Who else did we have? Wayne Bonner, Shushan, Look. You guys all coming back after all this time of us not being in. Obviously, we've missed out on some of the regular Spurs-related balls. I'm sure they'll be back. They probably think we deleted our channel, but we were back. Please do smash a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe if you are new. And, of course, we will be live this week. Transfer deadline day, West Ham game. And, of course, a game at the weekend. Plus, Champions League the following week. It's all kicking off here on SpursRelated. Please do. Go on.
Actually, I do work until 7 o'clock. But if you don't think I'm getting that train straight to the game and bringing you a vlog, who do you think I am? Because
Which
I'll
one?
be there and I will do my utmost best to try and get some footage. I'm not going to promise it.
Marseille game.
I will do everything I can to try
Is
and
that
get
Marseille?
Marseille, Champions League nights, back at the Spurs. I might miss the anthem.
How have you already got a ticket? Are the tickets out?
Pardon?
Are the tickets out already for that one?
I do have a season ticket, so I think it's already pre-booked. I think we've got all the cup games included. But
that's ridiculous. This guy's so lucky.
No, I've got to bring out the content for you guys. So yeah, I will try my best to get a vlog for you guys there. So yes, it's exciting times. I promise you, we're not just saying it; we're building it back up. Because James, we've been improving, haven't we? We've got to build it back up.
That's it, guys. Really do appreciate all the likes. Really do appreciate all the support. Subscribe if you are new. And guys, remember, as always, come on, you Spurs! Come on! I nearly just ended the stream without doing the outro. It's been that long. See you later, boys.